Welcome into the Sharp Sports YouTube podcast. My name is Andrew Sharp. We'll be talking everything Denver sports and beyond. Please like and subscribe if you are a sports fan like me. Let's do this. Welcome into the Sharp Sports YouTube channel. My name is Andrew Sharp, coming to you from Albuquerque, New Mexico, where I'm visiting my parents this week. That's why things look a little different. But regardless, the Denver Broncos fall 23-16 to the Los Angeles Chargers in Denver in an AFC West divisional game in which the Broncos were pretty much non-competitive for the first half and were down at 1.23-0. Managed to make a small comeback in the second half, but definitely put up way too much of a deficit to come back and effectively be in this game. And we're going to talk about quite a bit of that as to what the issues were for the Broncos, namely third down. Broncos, third down. Chargers, third down. Tale of two different teams completely. Chargers came into the game with a 36.4 third down conversion rate. Finished the game with a 61% conversion rate. So basically they doubled their third down rate conversion against the Broncos, and this was a problem all day. And early in the game, it was still competitive. Chargers were ahead 3-0. Game still competitive. First quarter, Broncos offense manages to find itself in a manageable 3rd and 1, trying to build some momentum, trying to get back in the game and keep the Chargers offense off the field. Garrett Bowles gets a false start penalty. Now it's 3rd and 6. Chargers get pressure on Nick Dixon with running around, throwing the ball away. Really wasn't anything developed, but it was sort of a little microcosm of what was to come for the remainder of the game. And early in the game, the Broncos were over 3 on third down with an average of 5.3 yards. 3rd and 5, not terrible, but totally manageable, but could not do anything. Chargers, on the other hand, at midway through about the same part of the game, were 8 of 10 on third down, while the Broncos again had another third down big pass play to Courtland Sutton, negated on a penalty, and so Broncos really effectively couldn't get out of their own way, and so that pretty much summed up the game. Chargers took advantage of their opportunities to keep their offense moving. Broncos failed to convert, and when the Broncos did manage to hold the Chargers to a 3rd and long situation, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 8. They went ahead and did a zero blitz, the Broncos defense that is, zero blitz on Justin Herbert, who simply backpedaled a little bit, found Ladd McConkey, and converted. And it's funny, I went back and looked at Ladd McConkey. It seemed like he was always open. He only had 4 catches, but he had 4 very important catches and effectively moved the chains for the Chargers to keep their offense rolling. And speaking of Ladd McConkey, who is Ladd McConkey? Oh, right. He was a really good player on Georgia. I had to kind of remember who he was, but I remember watching him in college. Very good pickup for the Chargers. Seems to have instant chemistry with Justin Herbert. And boy, I sure wish he was wearing the orange and blue instead of the orange and yellow for the Los Angeles Chargers. So Broncos failures on third down, Chargers efficiency on third down made it very difficult for the Broncos to be competitive in this football game. Unfortunately, I keep harping back to this as a regular feature on this podcast, is that Sean Payton is, I don't know if we don't have the personnel. I don't know if they don't think they're getting the right looks. Maybe we just don't have good enough players. Tyler Bidet going down certainly didn't help with the run game. Broncos' run game is anemic. And I really think that it goes well. It pairs well with this defense. It pairs well with a rookie quarterback who looks at times still overwhelmed. I'm still a Bo Nix supporter. Still think he's the right guy at this position. But to ask him to run an entire offense throwing 35, 40 times, this time he only had 33. But the Broncos, if you take out Bo Nix's carries, of which he had 6 of them, for 61 yards. He's a good scrambler. The Broncos had 12 running attempts for 49 yards. I'll say that again. The Broncos as a team had 12 running attempts for 49 yards. 49 yards on the ground is not going to get it done. It's just not. And I don't really understand. I understand that he's not quite the player he was and is trying to get back to, but why Javonte Williams only has six carries in the entire game, especially earlier in the game when the game was still in doubt. The Chargers were winning, but they weren't destroying the Broncos. They weren't up by 3, 4, 5 touchdowns, even 2 touchdowns. So why is Javonte only getting 6 carries? If we're not going to have an effective running game and we're just going to chuck it, I can guarantee you the Broncos will not make the playoffs. This team is not talented enough on the outside, on the perimeter, with the exit of certain players from the team, and too young. They're not good enough to throw the ball 35, 40 times and win football games. They have to have a balanced attack. So I'll say it again, and I keep saying it. Coach Sean Payton, why are we not running the ball? If we don't have the personnel to run the ball effectively, I can kind of understand that. But at this point, I'm not convinced of that at all. I'm convinced that run game has to do with whether you want to run the ball or you don't. And I'm not saying that we have to run it every play, but this offense needs to be balanced. Broncos don't have much time to worry about this game. They have to move on quickly to the next game, where they will be in New Orleans, the Sean Payton revenge game against his former team, the New Orleans Saints, on Thursday Night Football. We'll see. Derek Carr is apparently out for the New Orleans Saints, so they will be playing Spencer Rattler, and they will be very interesting for some Bo Nix, Spencer Rattler comparisons come the next time I film this podcast. But anyways, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for joining me from Albuquerque, New Mexico this week. Sharp Sports YouTube podcast. Thanks for tuning in, and it'll be a quick turnaround. Probably see you on Friday or Saturday with another Bronco reaction video. Thanks for tuning in.